Hey everyone, welcome. My name is Kylie. Today I'm going to lead you through a 10-minute mobility practice that is gearing you up to your floor work practice. So you could view this as a warm-up, or you can just grab some ideas from this video in terms of drills that you might want to try that are just going to work on the mobility and the strength of your legs that is then going to translate into action and results in your floor work practice. All right, so let's get started. We're going to go ahead and get right into a low squat right away. So I'm going to separate my feet wider than hip distance, bend my knees. At about this point, I'm going to start to feel the restriction from my ankles and hips. And so if you're having trouble getting into this low squat, you can always put your hands on the floor and just take the hips not quite as high. So this position right here is a great one to practice while you're watching TV, any sort of passive activity. Really good idea to just hang out in this position. So the next thing we're going to do from this position is we're going to do some dragon roll-ups. So I'm going to lift my tailbone lightly and drop my head heavy as I straighten my legs. Then I'm sequencing up through my spine. I'm looking up and then I'm dropping the tail and arching the head, and eventually it falls back down. So tailbone light first, then the tailbone drops and the head gets light. And we're going to do 3 more like this. We're working on some balance. We're working on some spine mobility and some hip mobility. Lots of breath. Nice. Good. From here, we are going to work on some internal rotation. So once again, if you need to do this with hands on the floor, that's kind of step 1. Dropping the knee down with control. Step 2, hands off the floor. Lots of muscle tone in the feet, so allowing the feet to be working. Nice. All right, let's rest. Let's shake out the legs. You start to feel the legs burning at that point, right? So the next thing we're going to work towards is sitting out of that squat. So we're back here again. We're coming all the way down. Again, hands as close to the floor as you need them, and then dropping from the feet to the seat. And as your hip mobility gets better, that drop will become more graceful. Right now, you might feel like you're falling back on your ass, and that is okay. The harder, more fun part is getting up. So I'm going to bring my feet as close to my hips as I can. Okay, I'm going to reach my hands in between my feet, and I'm just going to find my feet. And so what I'm working on is not allowing my knees to cave in as I do that. So that's external rotation strength. And you might find there's just no hope in hell that you're getting back onto your feet. So again, use your hands. You can even do some little circles like this. Shifting into the feet and then shifting back. We can use momentum for this one as well. I'm going to turn sideways. So we can lean back a little further, throw the head forward, and use some momentum to help get us up. It's a good core drill as well. So once you've got that, and again, the wider the stance, the easier it's going to be in most cases. So another thing that I'm personally working on is slowly starting to bring my feet closer together. This is a lot more ankle mobility to get down into that low squat and back up again. So conveniently, my knees land in my armpits. We're finding those natural folds in the body. And if at any point when you're doing this, it is crunchy and painful in the knees, we need to build up that knee strength a little bit more. Take a break. So speaking of knee strength, we're going to move on to something for the knees. So I'm going to go ahead and fold over my mat so that my kneeling leg has some padding. And I've been working on this drill for ankle mobility. So it's just a kneeling lunge, straight out front to start. So knee over ankle, but then allowing the knee to go past the ankle and then slowly controlling as we come back. We can reach the arms up. And then we can slowly start to go a little bit further, millimeters at a time. And then eventually we bring the foot a little closer still. So you'll feel a lot less stable here. So we're working on the balance, working on the small stabilizer muscles of the ankle and of the knee in this position. And we find ourselves in these deep lunges all the time in our floor work. So I'm just going to go forward and back. And I'm just going to try to progress a little deeper each time. I can also take this on a 45-degree angle and do the same thing. Now I'm working on my groin mobility as I do this. And I can also take it all the way out to 90 degrees as well. And again, it's a really good test for the groin. So let's do that on the other side. Whoa. Starting with the knee over top of the ankle, feeling the Achilles tendon elongate, feeling all 5 toes press into the floor, feeling the arch of the foot lift. And then let's try a few with the foot closer. Try not to rush through this. This is my bad ankle, so I'm just noticing out loud how much worse the range of motion, the crease of my ankle is here. It's smaller. Let's go on 45. And really, I'm feeling this mostly in the quad. So it's strengthening the quad, loaded in this lunging position, in a deep ankle crease. Nice. So once we've done that and our knees are a little bit more warmed up, we're going to do a little pretzel twist squat. So I'm going to make my way down there and demonstrate how I get down there. I'm curtsy lunging first. Eventually my knee hits the floor, and then I'm using control to sit my butt all the way down. So you recognize this stretch from yoga. You can take a moment here and sort of stretch it out a little bit. Now, trying to stand up from here is hard. So we add some muscle tone in the feet, both the front and the back foot, because I will use that back foot as much as I can. And I'll shift my weight forward and I'll stand up. And then I'll take a step out to second on the other side, and I'll lower myself down to the other side. These are quite hard. To do more than 3 of these on either side with control is difficult. It's a nice combo of strength and mobility. That's enough of those for the day. Nice. Okay. We're going to do some work for our toes. So we're going to come to a kneeling position, fold the mat over if need be, and we're going to tuck the toes under at the back. We're going to do some kneeling squats, keeping the toes tucked under, so hip thrusting forward, and then sitting down. So really working on the strength and mobility of my feet here. Some real nice discomfort in the toe joints, especially the big toes. Strongest of the toe joints usually. Nice. An alternative for this one is simply hands on the floor, shifting forward and back, trying to minimize the space between the hips and the heels, and working on that toe mobility. Whew, that's nice. Let's untuck the feet and just sit hips to heels for a moment here. Okay, we are going to do, finally, for this session today, some back mobility drills. Coming all the way down flat onto the belly, hands beside the rib cage, elbows tucked in. We're going to start by just doing a back extension, checking our blind spot, looking to the left, blind spot to the right, back to center, and down. Coming up, looking back to the left. And so check in, how many degrees of rotation do you have here? If you can only get to here at first, that's fine, right? We have to remember that we can build up these ranges of motions in small increments. We just have to have patience. So to build on this, we're going to frog leg the left knee, add some muscle tone in that left foot, back extend, look back. Oof, such a gorgeous stretch on that right hip flexor when I do that. Come down, other side. Right knee, frog legs, coming up, looking back, coming in, and coming down. As a final variation, we're going to take both knees into a frog legs, aka glorious groin stretch, and then we're going to work our back rotation from here. Our neck rotation from here. Nice. So there you have it. We did some work for the hips, the knees, the ankles, the toes, and then came back, circled back to the back. You don't even necessarily have to do these things in that order. See if next time when you're doing a floor work combination, if you can notice sort of when these positions and these ranges of motion come into play. And it helps to start to sort of connect the dots within your practice. Something like this can be used on a day when you don't really feel like going full out and doing like a full dancing combo, but to just keep your mobility alive, keep your range of motion building. And yeah, let me know which one of these was your favorite in the comments down below. If you made it this far in the video, comment dance deck. This is my dance deck. Thanks so much for stopping by today. I appreciate any likes, any subscriptions, and share this video with your favorite training buddy. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.